the Trinbago Knight Riders will be hosting the Antigua Barbuda Falcons on Friday, 29th of August, 2025, 7 p.m. again. The Trinbago Knight Riders will be hosting the Barbados Royals. On Saturday, 30th of August, 2025, 7 p.m., Trinbago Knight Riders will host Guyana Amazon Warriors. And on Monday, 1st September 2025, the only daylight game, and that will start at 11 a.m., the Trinbago Knight Riders will host the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots, and the final game will be Wednesday, 3rd of September 2025, 7 p.m., where Trinbago Knight Riders will host the defending champions, the St. Lucia Kings. We must advise persons that the gates will be open at least 3 hours before match start time. So having said that, there's a comprehensive risk assessment and security measures that we are going to take into consideration. So given the current national security climate and potential risk associated with major events, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service would have identified and prepared for a range of scenarios, including crimes against persons, public disturbances or riots, acts of terrorism or disruptive activities, medical emergencies and natural disasters, road traffic incidents, firearm-related incidents. To mitigate these tasks, the TTPS will deploy specialized units within the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, peace officers, traffic management teams from the Southern Division and from the Traffic and Highway Patrol Branch, crowd management personnel, crime detection units, CCTV, and air surveillance to facilitate these activities, as I mentioned before. So we want to look at traffic and parking arrangements. To facilitate a smooth flow and to ensure public safety, designated VIP and VVIP parking will be available within the venue on the southern side of the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. Limited public parking will be provided on a first-come, first-served basis, and that parking will be on the northern side of the Brian Lara Academy. Additional parking and traffic restrictions will be enforced on roads surrounding the venue, including temporary closures and one-way traffic conversions. Key restrictions to take note of: southbound exit ramps at the Toruba Link Road will be closed before, during, and after the game, and adjusted access routes for entry and exit of the venues. As it relates to emergency response and evacuation, in the case of emergencies, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service will work closely with the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, the Office of the Disaster Preparedness and Management, ODPM, and venue officials to activate and execute any evacuation plan. I will now go to some public advisories. Patrons are encouraged to arrive early to allow for security checks. And yes, there will be checks on entry into the venue. They ought to comply with all safety guidelines and instructions from law enforcement personnel. And they are to avoid parking in unauthorized areas to prevent congestions and penalties. I also have some information, and this is coming from the International Cricket Council, the ICC, and also the Caribbean Premier League organizers. And they would have indicated to us that the following items will not be allowed inside of the venue. And these items are lighters, glass or plastic bottles, sharp objects, backpacks, cameras, and when we say cameras, professional cameras, So we're not referring to your phones, drones, any sort of weapons, food, drinks, and coolers will not be allowed into the venue. The indicators that umbrellas are not allowed except on the or during the daylight game, which is Monday the 1st, because of the sun. And they are asking persons that the umbrellas that you're working with, that it does not have any advertisement on the umbrellas itself. All right, and that is in keeping with the ICC and the CPL rules and regulations. Alcohol will be sold on the compound venue together with food and drinks. As it relates to firearms, definitely there will be a no firearms policy. So persons will not be allowed to enter the venue with firearms, legal or otherwise. Firearm users, license holders are asked to lodge their firearms at the designated police stations closest to the venue. So I just also want to mention, the question will be asked if there will be any wrecking activities on the compound, and the answer is no. And we would have indicated that even if there's no wrecking or removal services, police officers will be on the ground to ensure that persons do not park indiscriminately in and around. Of course, definitely there will be no parking on the shoulders of the Sir Solomon Hochoy Highway. Persons who fail to adhere to these instructions will be issued a fixed penalty notice as it relates to unauthorized parking. So we are asking persons, these games attract the home games of Trinbago Night Riders. It attracts the largest crowds. So we're asking persons to please practice some journey management and arrive there on time to avoid and to mitigate the aspect of excess traffic. So basically that is an overview of what is going to take place those 5 days from the 27th tomorrow till next week, the 3rd of September. I will now ask Ms. Mitchell Ambrose, who is a member of the Operation Command Center and who is working closely with the organizers of the CPL. Say something.
Hi, good day, everyone. To add to the public advisories, just for the public to be aware that no one should be taking cash from you to park. Parking at Brian Lara is free, right? Just be mindful of that. Thank you.
All right, so basically that is it. So I'll now open the floor for any questions that you may have as it relates to this major event that we are having within the next week.
ACP, good afternoon. Annalisa Paul, Trinidad Guardian. Now, traffic restrictions on, we've had games before at Branara Cricket Academy, and we have seen, traffic gridlocks. We've seen situations arise despite the best laid plans. What assurances can you give that this particular traffic plan and management system that you're rolling out here today will work, and how is it different from previous plans that we're seeing?
Okay, so what I can tell you is that we have some challenges, and because that is because of the access routes to the Brian Lara Cricket Academy is very limited. However, what will be different this year, just so we will be focusing more, because we get most of the complaints when the game is over and people are trying to exit. So what we're going to do different this year, around 5 minutes before the game is over, that whole Turuba flyover, what we normally have is that we have local traffic intermingling with the persons coming from Brian Lara. So we are going to cut off local traffic on that ramp. So persons who are living in and around the area will be using alternative routes, because San Fernando is a very versatile place in terms of access to different parts of the environment. So that will assist us immensely. We did a dry run with it, and the traffic that is coming out of Brian Lara will have full access to go right, left, up, down, as the case may be, and not mix with the local traffic.
Because I'm not going to say one of the follow-up questions here that we have is, what sort of surprise or inconvenience is going to come for the locals in terms of, persons trying to access the area, get out of the area at that time that you know, both sets of traffic bouncing up there.
Right. So yeah. So that, well, that would have answered the question. But just to look at the entries. So what we'll have is that, okay, for example, like tomorrow on Friday game, the traffic that is coming southbound, it is intermingling with persons who may not be going to the game, but it's a regular traffic afternoon. And that is why we're asking persons to probably try to get to the venue as early as possible. We're also asking persons, if possible, they can carpool or they can use maxis and organize and come down in groups, because the parking at Brian Lara is very limited. There are certain areas that persons may take a chance and park, which we advise there will be signage that they ought not park in those areas because those areas are not well lit and our security apparatus will not be extending to those areas. So it's all about journey management in this case.
Now we're under a state of emergency, and we've had advisories go out against public gatherings. This is a event. This is an event that is going to attract thousands. It will also attract key state officials, high-ranking persons. What makes this so different in terms of the security arrangements for the CPL as opposed to the Independence Day parade?
Well, I'm not going to go to the independence route. All I can tell you is that the CPL, this is something that we host every single year. And this year is no exception, and we have all clear to host the event. We haven't received any restrictions as it relates to that particular gathering. So based on that, we are going all steam ahead as it relates to security arrangements for that particular game.
And in terms of monitoring those criminal elements that we do have under surveillance at the moment, especially given the SOE, you would say at this time here, with 1 day to go before the games begin, that you all are confident and secure in terms of the plan that you have before you, that it is sufficient
Yes,
for the well-being of those who are going to be in attendance.
Yes, definitely. And I know I indicated some security arrangements, of course not going into details, but we have an array of specialized teams on the ground. I'll just give you an example. We have our air support units that will be giving us an aerial view of things happening. We have our criminal investigation department officers who will be moving around in plain clothes. We have our officers in uniform. And the venue is also supplied with a number of different security firms which we are working in collaboration with to make sure that that area is safe for those 5 games. Not just the TTPS.
Joey Bartlett here with Newsday. Now you said that you have given the all clear, etc. And you began saying there's a robust security plan in place. Is it an increased or intensified police operation as opposed to last year's game, or is it the same as last year?
Well, I will say we always try to get bigger and better. And the CPL is growing in numbers in terms of when we did our analysis and research, the numbers are getting bigger in terms of crowds and so on. So this year, of course, definitely, we are going to be bigger, we're going to be better, we're going to be more robust in our security, because I mentioned earlier that this CPL, it's under the ICC and it's an international event, and we are on the world stage. So based on that critical event, we want to make sure that everything goes well in Trinidad and Tobago.
Final question for me, perhaps Mrs. Mitchell may be able to answer, because you're working closely with ICC. Now, earlier he said no plastic bottles of any kind. It's just... And plastic he mentioned as well.
But no bottles and a whole, nothing can
So no plastic at all at all?
I'm not going to say
But-
you indicated as well, no coolers, nothing. So
Yeah, but liquids
coolers.
aren't the only, or liquids that you consume aren't the only things that you carry in plastic bottles. We have
Repeat the
hand
question?
creams, sanitizers, the no plastic. I was
Yeah.
just curious as to...
Well, I mean, at the gates, they should have the label as to what you can and cannot
Okay,
come
so
in
it's
with,
only
so they will
just-
guide you as to what you can and come in with, can and cannot come in with.
Okay, because the blanket, no plastic bottles was...
It's vague, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why wait until you get to the gate? to then tell persons, because at that point you'll have to be discarding things that persons could just leave at home or leave in their vehicle.
What I can tell you is that the bottles that you're referring to is in relation to drinks,
Okay.
right? I was also told by one of the organizers yesterday, is something that they indicated that they will be flexible to persons. You may have a person who may probably have a special diet and may not be able to consume the food in there, and so they will use the discretion of the persons who come in with who may have medical issues. So that will be in place, yes.
Good afternoon, Urvashi from TV6. Mr. Meister, when you spoke about air surveillance and the air support unit, we're talking about drone technology, or is it that we have helicopters or something doing air surveillance?
No, drone technology.
Okay.
Our unit is equipped with that.
You did say that alcohol is being sold at the venue. Is it that blood alcohol concentration tests will be done as people exit, or people who you suspect may have had a little too much to drink?
Well, right. So that is a question, and I'll answer it this way. And I was supposed to mention it. I was going to mention it in the closing of the press briefing. That's the night games, right? The 4 night games. It starts at 7 and it will finish at around 11ish. So we are also urging members of the public. We know that they will be consuming alcohol. Of course, their safety is our priority as well. So we are asking persons to be vigilant on the roads to ensure that they arrive home safely. What I can tell you is that police officers, we will be on the ground after the games. First thing, to ensure that traffic is moving in a manner, and after which we continue our normal operations, and those operations will include stop and search, DUIs, speed tests, and so on. So it will be a normal operations by the TTPS doing those activities.
Now, you did say that at the venue there is limited public parking. People are not allowed to park along the highway, understandably so. But what additional parking is available, and has the TTPS considered urging the organizers to have a shuttle service, separate parking, off-site parking, and a shuttle service to alleviate some of that traffic consideration?
The parking arrangements would be done based on ticket sales. And if the organizers would have seen that the ticket sales would have exceeded a certain amount, they would have accessed the nearby parking lots. But as it stands, the venue itself would be able to hold the amount with the ticket sales.
Okay, I gotcha. I just have a small question, kind of off topic. I believe ACP Meister may be able to answer. Just yesterday, Dr. Rowley issued a statement. He said that, about this, the government allowing to some extent the US to utilize or allegedly utilize some of our territorial waters. Dr. Rowley issued a statement saying that crime should not be used as a cop-out to allow the US to occupy territorial waters or set up a quote-unquote base here. He said specifically, yes, we are drowning in blood. Yes, the murder rate is obscene, but no amount of US warships parked in international waters will fix corrupt police, court backlogs, communities abandoned by the state. As far as it relates to corrupt police, is this a fair statement? I mean, could you attest to there being corrupt police as cited by a former prime minister in a statement issued just yesterday?
Obviously, my opinion in that activity is not important, and I don't have any comment as it relates to that particular comment.
Hi, Sonolala, TDT News. Mr. Meister, ACP Meister, just I think last year or the year before, there was some altercations in the stadium. I'm not sure if it's in Trinidad itself. I'm not sure if it was in Trinidad itself, but would police be deployed inside the stadium as well?
Yes, definitely. We have officers inside the stadium and outside. I indicated to you that the inside of the stadium as well, we have a number of security firms that will be working in collaboration with. However, if you go to the inside of the venue, you may see officers. How should I put it? In terms of, because of the international branding, we will not allow officers, for example, with camouflage inside the venue or with heavy arms. So you'll see officers with, basic gray and blue. Outside, you'll have the heavy arm officers and that kind of, because it's part of the whole ICC branding and imaging, that they don't want to have this kind of like show of force actually inside of the stadium. So that is what you'll see inside.
And just to Miss Mitchell, you mentioned persons not encouraging persons not to take money for parking, but will any enforcement or any such be done?
So yes, but in the past we've had well, one or two persons in the car park trying to solicit persons parking. So I'm just urging the public just to be mindful that you don't have to pay for parking at Brand Lara.
Just finally, from the entrance and the exit, I believe it's a two-lane. Normally, there's parking allowed on one of the lanes. Would that be done in this entrance for the patrons?
That's on the boulevard, right?
Yes.
Yes, on the boulevard, yes, and they will be parked. What we saw in the past that they were parking in different directions. So officers will be there to ensure that they park in one direction, so we'll have a smooth flow on our exits.
Final question from me with respect to WPC Metro. No umbrellas if rain falls at night.
Well, I had a disclaimer that this was not the TTPS rules.
No.
This is the
Yeah, so it's
CPL,
it's
ICC.
yeah, it was put in place. So yeah, it was put in place by them, and that's a rule that they have. We can't override it, as they only permit the umbrella for the daylight games. Well, daylight game, one game. Yes,
Yes.
must have no logo on it. Yes,
So if
no
rain
brand.
falls in the night,
I mean, they may be allowed to shelter, maybe. Can't say. Or they can walk with a raincoat,
no branding.
no branding.
No branding, you know. They are not allowing free advertisements, are they?
Yeah, just asking in the interest of the public if, like say, an elderly person of a certain age go out at night and because of the weather we have in Trinidad and Tobago and it's inconsistency. So it's some time it's really hot at night, it's pouring the rain.
Correct.
Yes.
weather system coming this way. So over the next few days, we're expecting rain.
So the umbrella thing, I mean, I know it's not your decision, but if someone who's leading with the organization, perhaps.
We can make mention of it. I'm sure they're probably viewing as well. So we can make mention of it. All right.
Just finally, from me quickly off topic, the U.S. Embassy would have put out a release that Tevin Williams and Zachariah Williams were deported and returned from Trinidad and Tobago to the United States, and they mentioned the TTPS having a role in that. Could you describe the role the TTPS played in that regard?
Unfortunately, right now I don't have that information. So.
Thank you all to the members of the media who are here, and thank you for the live streaming of the TTPS's weekly press brief. We thank the nation for watching, and I really want to thank the Gold Commander, ACP Meister, and WPC Ambrose Mitchell for being here to give you that information so that when you go to those games, you are ready, and do enjoy. This concludes our press brief. Remember, if you see something, say something. Dial 999-555-800 tips, and of course 736 TTPS. Have a good afternoon.